I couldn't do anything. It literally recorded the first 7 minutes. Like I went back up to the office after saying goodbye to you, and I'm skipping up the stairs thinking that was so fucking good. And then I went to press play, and I'm thinking that file size is tiny. What's going on?
Oh, you knew there and then?
I know, but I couldn't. For the first time ever, I've written your introduction. We're going to do it in person.
Okay.
It's not super long. Is everyone ready? Okay. This week's guest is Laura Hart-Raja, a naturopath, and you can tell me if it's wrong or not, a colonic hydrotherapist, owner of wellness clinic, the Highcliffe Clinic, mum, wife, high rocks athlete. Is that okay to say? We're going to say
Amateur.
that? Okay. And our first ever guest, who has openly at least said they get excited about poo.
Very true.
Welcome to JobsWorth again.
Take two.
So I feel like we've just got to address, because this is a different location to where we usually record the podcast. So we are down at Leigh Marina today, and we have turfed Ollie, who is running this project down here, turfed him out of his office for the morning and taken over basically with all our podcast equipment. So thank you to Leigh Marina, thank you to Ollie for letting us use the space. And I also think we need to say why we need to fill in a bit of backstory about why we're here for a second time and why I said welcome again. Because you have been on the podcast in a world where before we were recording video, we had an hour and 45 minutes, one of the best conversations I've ever had. I got back up to the office and realised that I hadn't recorded any of it. So yeah, this is a long time in the making. So thank you for being so patient.
Thanks for having me back.
I think I also needed to forget what we'd discussed. So this is all fresh in my mind to have this chat again. But since then, we've also done something quite special, which was my way of making it up to you. Mm-hmm. Tom's sniggering off camera because he was present for this as well, which we'll talk about as we go. Anyway, we're going to start with the opening question. And maybe you remember your answer to this from last time. Can you think that far back?
I've been trying to think of everything we spoke about, and I really, really can't.
Is it good? So it's fresh for both of us.
Yeah, it is.
So we're going to start with the opening tradition. When you were younger, what did you want to be when you grew up?
Okay, so this question, like I said to you before, actually now I remember, because so many of your previous guests had said the same thing, a teacher.
Right.
So my first inspiration was my grandma, who was a primary school teacher. So we used to finish school before her school. So the end of term, my sister and I would go into her classroom in the days where you could. And I would admire her in so many ways, but she was an incredible teacher as well as my grandma. So as an inspiration, I just believed that was my calling. I had to follow her footsteps. So I really wanted to be a teacher. So yeah, I studied and graduated as an early years professional teacher.
So you actually went that far down the road. Do you remember how young you were when you had that first kind of inspiration to go down that route?
Probably in primary school myself.
Yeah.
Like as early as that, because she was such a sort of integral part of my, sort of what I'd admired in a person. She was just a huge role model.
Did you have other good teachers that you were looking up to and respecting as well?
Definitely,
Obviously, she was on the pedestal.
Yeah, she was high
P1.
up there, but my teachers were always great. I really did have total respect for my education and the people that taught me. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that's brilliant. It's not everyone's experience going to school, is it? Like some
Definitely
people,
not.
did that go through to senior school as well? Or was it more the fondness and that feeling of inspiration come from primary school?
Primary, definitely.
Right.
The nurturing side of primary school, it was more so the early years, sort of being vulnerable, being supported, being nurtured and cared for. And it was back in a day where teachers could look after you in that way, sort of cuddles, and you felt cared for. There was the red tape that is now sort of everywhere wasn't.
Yeah. No, I get what you mean. I had a fondness for primary school. I think most of the people we speak to actually say primary school and then shit got real come secondary school. And that feeling of being nurtured and cared for and looked after, there's that gear change when you go into secondary school. And I think people's relationship with education changes.
Definitely, mine did, yeah.
Yeah. So you mentioned on your form, I had to dig this out.
Oh no, I didn't do it again.
Well, it was the original form, but I
Yeah.
think all of it still applies. But you mentioned that you knew about the importance of gut health from quite an early age, and I just wanted to ask why that was the case.
So we were brought up. My mum was an amazing cook. She was a chef, so she was a pastry chef, but also a fantastic sort of all-round cook. So we were always fed really well, nourished through nutrition, and had lovely cooked meals. And so from a young age, like, I learnt the importance of, you know, sort of eating well and, you know, functioning well and living a healthy life. And then when you sort of get to the age where you're in control of feeding yourself, starting to eat crap, you're a teenager, you go and buy whatever you want. I soon saw this shift of, like, you know, well-being and certainly like health, because I was putting crap in my body.
What do you, again, I like to take it back to, do you remember an age where that started to happen? Because my memories of that are going to school and have it all of a sudden having some lunch money and just sticking it in a vending machine and eating crisps and chocolate and all the stuff, the quick fix stuff that give you a bit of a boost throughout the day. But
Probably
do you remember
learning to drive and then passing your test and being like, where's the first place you're going to go? I'm going to go to the drive-through.
Yeah, that's a really good point.
I'm going to pick up all my friends are going to go around.
Freedom to go to all of these.
Going to go from McDonald's to KFC. I mean, we did used to do that. Like, it was just junk food. Like,
and you remember that kind of the change in your, I would assume, energy levels.
Energy, spots, like acne, awful acne. Like, it's just the whole body starts to change. Mood, definitely. That sort of grumpy teenager comes out that doesn't want to do anything. It's just a stick of the dump, my mum used to call us.
Is that a rite of passage as a teenager? Because we're going through hormonal changes as well, aren't we? But I guess we're making it worse for ourselves if we're then going and fueling our body with a load of shit, basically.
I think we've all done it, for sure. Oh, but I noticed the shift, and, you know, I think I mentioned this before, but I had a really lovely opportunity in my early teens of training to be a personal trainer. So I grew up in Clacton, and there isn't a lot going on in Clacton, and there's a lot of children that come from deprived backgrounds. And the gym that I was, well, my dad was good friends with the owner. He was putting on sort of a scheme to help children that potentially weren't going to be staying in school. So, you know, giving them something. So he was offering a MVQ in personal training. So he invited me to do that too. And so from a very young age, really, to be doing a PT course, I was probably 16, I was learning about health through fitness and basic nutrition. But I knew already at that point that all the stuff I was doing was not good. Yeah. So it was really short-lived, but certainly, like, I knew that had to change.
It was enough of a period in your life to think, I can't get stuck in this kind of process.
I don't want to be like this.
Yeah, because you've seen what best practice looks like from your mum.
Yeah.
And having those meals and living in a really healthy way. And then had a little stint of, okay, I know I'm fueling my body in the wrong way now, but then you're back to fitness, which has still played a huge part in what it is you're doing. And I would imagine keeps you yourself with your own practices quite honest, because if you're training for something, I said Hyrox athlete at the start, but I mean, we're talking to you having done a couple of weeks ago, three in 2 days, 3 Hyrox events in 2 days. So I don't think it's a stretch to say Hyrox athlete. And we're sat however many yards, I'm crap with measurements, but however many yards from the hybrid hub over there.
All thanks to the hybrid hub.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't think it's a stretch to call you a Hyrox athlete, however uncomfortable that might make you feel. But once you're eating for performance and living in a way that you want to perform optimally, that just keeps you, it's Definitely. Another layer, isn't it, that keeps you on track.
100%. And I have this conversation with Aaron all the time, who is the owner of the hybrid hub, and I have a real battle with fueling workouts and following what I believe now to also be a real integral part of sort of being well. So gut health. Right. I love fasting. Yeah. I really know the sort of importance and how, you know, beneficial it can be, but certainly to females around our hormonal health at certain stages of our cycle. So I love fasting. But then on the flip side of that, Aaron will be like, Laura, you can't come to the gym 3 days into not eating and think you can do these classes. You need to fuel. And I'm like, I know, I need to fuel, but I also really have to sort of try and do all the things that I believe can help to the end Thank God.
Well, you've got to practice what you preach for your clients, but also, you want to do something that is your calorie expenditure when you're doing something like a Hyrox is absolutely mad.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah. So they're at odds, I guess, to a degree of each other. But you've gone and done this personal training course. So how did that marry up though with the teaching stuff? So at what point did you realise teaching isn't what you wanted to do longer term, and that this would be the kind of calling for you?
So it's funny because obviously your podcast is all about breaking away from the cycle of being employed, but I've always, and still probably to this day, felt a security in the fact that, do I want to be employed? Go back to that later, but I graduated from uni, and then I already knew that I probably didn't want to be in a classroom. It's already kind of put me off from my teacher training, and like I mentioned, all the policies in place and all this red tape. So
when you say you didn't want to be in a classroom, teaching in a classroom, that environment, you were all right sitting the other side of the desk and learning?
Yeah,
that was okay.
I mean,
okay.
I really wasn't a great student at uni, I must say. Like, I went to Anglo-Ruskin in Chelmsford, so I could travel from home. You could do a lot of the learning online. So I was allowed to do, I think, 20% virtual learning. I think I did about 80%.
Right,
I rarely attended my classes.
But
so
you got through it. You graduated.
I graduated,
so
I got a 2-1. I did all right. I don't know how.
You must have been okay. But you realised that you didn't want to be stood in front of a classroom in that kind
I'd
of
already
educational
kind of
setup.
switched out of that. But I was, once I graduated, I'd been offered a private nannying job in Thorpe Bay with a boyfriend at the time's family friend. And it was an amazing opportunity. And I did that from graduating till probably 9 years ago. And it actually crossed over with the colonics. I worked for that family until the children were old enough that they didn't need me.
Wow.
And I even stayed on and tried to help with like house duties and things like that, just because I loved the family, loved the element of having that security of employment. So I had private nanny. So I loved being with children. That aspect of why I went into teaching very much still aligned.
The box was checked in that regard,
I adored the children so much so that they were like family. They treated me like family. I was, it was a wonderful
Was it
position.
a bit Mary Poppins?
Yeah. It was a really lovely time. It felt like working without working, if that makes sense. I was taken sort of under the wing of this family, and sort of greater families as well, like the grandparents, like we'd go to Italy for the summer, skiing. It was wonderful. They're half Italian, so we would spend summers in Tuscany, and it was just, whilst looking after 2 children playing in a swimming pool, it really didn't seem like work, but I was doing exactly all the elements of why I wanted to be a teacher.
Can I ask something?
Yeah.
Do you sacrifice part of your own independent life to do that though?
Probably yes.
But it obviously didn't feel like a sacrifice.
No,
and I don't want to frame
all.
it as one, but I'm just thinking, living like that for such a big chunk of time, you're giving so much of yourself, and it's security, but you're not going out, you're beholden to a degree to that family and what they're doing.
Certain extent, but I didn't live with them.
Right,
so
okay.
I did sort of clock off at 6, and it wasn't a job that I was thinking about all night or anything like that. So yes and no. So yes, because I guess I cared so much that, I was doing all of the things for them, making sure they ate well, feeding the family, so that at the end of the day I was like, I don't want to go home and cook for me. So in that respect, doing all their washing and making sure their clothes are ironed, so I look like a tramp most of the time.
And now you're a parent, so you're straight back into that world again, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's just very easy to be like, I'm going to
It's easier to look after someone else's children.
And make yourself an afterthought. You're like, okay.
Definitely.
All right, now I wanted to ask that question because I've never spoken to someone that's done the private nannying stuff before.
Yeah.
And I think, it's a big commitment of time and for all the lovely stuff that comes from being an extension of that family. Yeah, you're there. Yeah. I would imagine 6-7 days a week, or was it a Monday to Friday type
It was actually
thing?
Monday to Friday, unless holidays and things like that, I would, sort of do more. And obviously if we were traveling and things like that more. But they really did not sort of put pressure onto me to like be their slave. But
And I'm not framing it like that at all. But I think that's a lovely experience.
It was. And actually it was them, but it was Ellie, who was my employer at the time, that sort of, as the children were getting older, channeled me to be like, what are you passionate about? And obviously led into the training with the colonics, because she was a businesswoman. They'd started their own business, and she even financially helped me sort of make that decision to go on the training course.
Oh, amazing. Wow.
So it was, she was quite a role model really in that respect, of really trying to make me see what I was capable of.
So you've got, I mean, it's lovely when you've got people advocating for you, isn't it? And people in your life that are like, come on, like, because she's aware that you're probably like aging out of that, and the kids are aging out of that need now for you to be part of their lives for much longer in the same way.
Yeah.
So when you say, what are you passionate about? How do you then come up with, look, and it's easy to say I'm passionate about colonics. That's not gonna
No.
But you're passionate about the benefits that come from all the treatments that you do. But how did you learn that you were passionate about that?
Okay, so I guess I'm still passionate about being a people person. So like the children, I'm passionate about helping others. Like my job, I've seen so many people benefit from colonics and, mentally, physically, emotionally, become a lot better than how they come into the clinic. And for me, it still sort of lays with the fact that I'm nurturing and I love people. I love talking to people. I think people believe that I'm a bit of a therapist in all aspects of the word, because most people lay on my couch and talk to me about problems much deeper than gut health and dietary and lifestyle. It's, sort of mental traumas and things like that. So helping people is the passion.
That's at the core of why you're doing what you do.
Definitely. I really enjoy everybody's story, and everybody comes in, has something else that they want to share with me. And I'm always learning from people.
I've spoken to barbers about this, right? And the reason I say this is because when you see people regularly or semi-regularly, the first couple of conversations you have are going to be about the treatment and the process and small talk. But after a while, you do form relationships with people. If you're sat, I was speaking to Dean Gleeson a couple of episodes ago, and I said, if you're sat with someone for 45 minutes, one-to-one, how often does that happen on a semi-regular basis? And those barriers that we would usually have in social setups do start to erode, and you will start to share stuff. And having known you for the time that I have, and having now experienced your the way you are in that environment, you do open up and share.
You're vulnerable.
You are vulnerable, and I think that's a big responsibility for you, to give people space in those moments where they are incredibly vulnerable to then share.
Yeah.
So that's a beautiful trait.
Dean mentioned this as well, and he said he makes notes. I don't make notes, but I do remember. Well,
then that's why you don't make notes.
Not all the time, and sometimes people come in and I'm like, think, Laura, like what is it about this person you can remember? But by the time they get on my bed, I have something that they've told me or shared that I can say, how was this? Or, whatever, just following up from information that they've given me. And they always go, how do you remember that? I'm like, took a minute, but I will. Yeah. I'll get there.
It used to be a superpower for me when I was, I still work in recruitment, but when I was younger, my ability to retain information, I never had to make notes.
Yeah.
So I'd remember people's kids' names, what they'd done on holiday, what sport they were playing, what team they were into. I have none of that anymore.
No,
it feels like an age thing now, but I'm just, again, I think it's kids.
Yeah.
Sleep deprivation. I've got too much to remember outside of work now that it doesn't allow me to do it. So if you can still cling on to any ability to retain that information, then you're doing okay. So you've got this advocate in terms of the family that you were working with.
Yeah.
And then you decide, right, I'm going to start training and going into this world. So that was 9 years ago.
Yeah.
Wow. Was it 9 years ago?
10 years ago.
Yeah.
10 years ago.
You've been doing it a long time when you can't remember.
No, I think we've had 2 children, pandemic. It's been, 10 years.
Wow.
So I can't believe that. It's actually crazy.
So you were working for someone when you originally started?
So, going back to that again, when I graduated, got my diploma, funnily enough, I was looking for a place to set up, and I had set up a clinic in Thorpe Bay in one of my friends' beauticians, and it was lovely, but I was still sort of had that nervous energy about fully being self-employed.
Right.
I had kept kind of my feet with the family, like my toes were still nannying. So I was doing a couple of mornings a week or something like that whilst I was training to pay the bills. And obviously the family didn't want me to completely go either. So it was like that transitional period. And I knew they were so ready to not get rid of me, but let me go now.
Yeah.
But I needed that security. So I had my clinic set up in Thorpe Bay, but I wasn't putting a lot into it. I suppose I was really sort of nervous, felt massive imposter syndrome. Hate saying that, but I did for years, probably the first 3 years of being, successful. Well, not so, sort of had finished my training with the colonics. So I had my clinic in Thorpe Bay. I rarely worked. I probably did a Sunday morning when the clinic was shut. I would have a few clients coming in. Didn't promote or push and try and encourage them to come back. Didn't back myself at all. Didn't sort of understand why they would need to come back through the door again. I just didn't feel secure being like a saleswoman.
Yeah. So was there a lack of... Because why do you not like saying imposter syndrome, by the way? I think
that word's just been thrown around so
okay,
much, hasn't it?
It's more like, it's just overused.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
but I did massively, and I still, in some respects, do feel like that. But I'm more so confident because I've got such a lovely returning clients now. But for the first couple of years, people would stand there and pay and be like, "Okay, so when do I need to come back again?" I'd be like, "I don't know."
But that's a confidence thing, right?
Yeah, massively. So I just had this sort of achievement, this clinic set up. I'd funded and, should be sort of full steam ahead, go. I just didn't have the confidence at all.
Yeah. That's such a common thing. Like there's someone in my life that I'm speaking to a lot about this at the moment, and they're qualified in what they want to do. They are more than capable. All the feedback they're getting from friends and family that they've started to do treatments on.
Yeah.
Rave reviews. But actually asking people to start parting with money,
that's it,
is a thing. So why is that?
I don't know. I used to think, how much is it? And I know my prices.
Discount.
Just give me £50.
Yeah.
And I used to remember my teacher saying to me, "You are qualified. You're as qualified as anybody else. If you discount your service, people will believe that you're not qualified or capable of doing the job that they've come for.
Yeah.
They'll question you, charge full price and be confident." I just couldn't. I'd be like, pay me what you think.
Yeah.
Like, it was ridiculous. And I was like, this is not for me. I'm not going to be doing this. I'm not going to have a career that I have to sort of drive myself.
You've got to be the sales, as you said, a salesperson as well in the front of house. Everything, you're everything, aren't you, really, when you start a business?
100%. And I just felt nervous. And then one day Ben and I were making IKEA furniture, and our friend...
So romantic.
Yeah. Our friend came over and he popped round and he was like really stressed. And I'm like, "Well, Luke, what's the matter?" He's like, it's just really annoying. But my mum has a health clinic, and basically a lady that has been doing colonics for 30 plus years has just retired and left her in the lurch and sort of walked away. And I was like, "What did you say?" And he was like, "Oh, my mum has a clinic in Westcliff. Her colon hydrotherapist has just walked away." And I was like, "Are you joking me?" Like, I didn't even know this clinic existed, for one. Colonics are quite a niche treatment. I don't know if you've...
I can't imagine there's tons of people out there that would step up to the plate
in our area.
Right.
Another story I'll tell you in a minute.
Okay.
But yeah,
bookmark that one because I might forget it.
it goes back to me wanting to be employed again.
Right, okay.
So he came around and he said, like, "My mum's got this clinic. It's all set up for colonics." And I was like, wow, this is it. I can be employed doing the thing that I've trained in.
Someone else takes the money.
I haven't got to talk to people other than whilst doing the treatment. I haven't got to discuss coming back. That can be the receptionist. Lovely. So I was like, "Luke, I'm a qualified colon hydrotherapist." And he was like, "Don't be silly." I was like, "I am."
Yeah.
Anyway, cut a long story short, I met his mum the following week and we agreed that I'd work at the clinic.
So that's serendipity at its finest, isn't it? Like someone walking in, the timing, the stars have aligned at that point, haven't they?
Absolutely. It is a very niche market. Yeah. And anyway, so then I left the nannying job because I was like, okay, we've got a client base here. I haven't got to look for clients. I haven't got to be the receptionist. There's one at the clinic. I can take all that pressure off, all the side of the business that I didn't like doing. I didn't have to do anymore. So I was not employed, but I was felt that security of a clinic and having somebody sort of in a more powerful position.
Yeah, you've got a home, you've got a base.
Yeah.
You're still working with your clients, but again, there is still a vehicle to take payments. There's front of house, I would imagine, to sort out with follow-up appointments, all the stuff,
all
as you say.
that. Yeah.
It strip back all the stuff that you were uncomfortable about doing. Yeah.
So I was doing that. And then a few years down the line, they were going to sort of move away from that business, and they were going to look to sort of have a smaller premises. And I was like, oh no, what am I going to do? And this other lady that does colonics in the area,
The second one.
the only other person, reached out to me
Person two.
about me going and working for her. And I was like, this is brilliant. I can go again. Like, how? There's only 2 places in this area that does it, and someone else wants me. And I went and did a trial with her. And she offered me minimum wage to work for her doing the treatments that I'd been earning a reasonable amount.
Right.
And I was so mortified and so like really upset that she'd kind of disrespected me so much to the point that we have the same qualification. You want to make £80 an hour out of me while I make 15.
Yeah.
I was really cross, but I was like, I'm doing it. I'm opening my own business. If this lady can do it, so can I.
Don't we need those moments though in our life where all that imposter syndrome at that stage falls away?
Yeah.
And great, because you're advocating for yourself. You're sat there thinking, why the fuck am I going to allow you to take those margins?
Day. I can get myself a full day.
Exactly
I
that.
can do this.
I'm so glad. Well, obviously we know that happened and it's been successful since, but yeah, that moment, obviously you can see like it's ingrained in your head. Yeah, why? Why would you?
100%.
At that stage, well, I guess from where you're sitting now, having run Highcliffe for how many years?
3 years.
Okay. So having run it for 3 years now, do you regret not having started it earlier, or do you think everything had to... Right, okay.
Absolutely not. I needed so many lessons, and I needed to build my confidence. I needed my clients to come back time after time. I needed to see that they believed in me, and I needed to see that actually it was really helping people.
Yeah.
I think like when you originally train in something that you believe so much in and you know the benefits, when you start to do it on other people who are skeptical, you know, they have read on Google that it could be this, it might do this, you know, all these sort of, you know, possible issues and contraindications of the treatment. When you start to see actually feedback, I feel so much better. You know, I can't believe it. I'm going to the toilet every day. I was going to the toilet once every 3 weeks in some cases. I'm like, okay, I know you now believe what I believed. I can sell this.
Yeah.
I've seen the return. I can now promote my own business.
Brilliant. So again, it's all a confidence thing. You need to see the case study play out, don't you, to then go, right, this is the message is now catching on.
Without that.
This might be a nice time to segue into some of the benefits of what it is you do, because I remember us having had this conversation before, and I do think it's really important because again, there's contrary opinions, there's opinions in favour. It'll always be the case, and I'm not asking you to defend these benefits.
Yeah,
I would just like to know them. It's now good to say at this point that I have had a treatment with you, which at some point throughout this episode, there may be some clips of said treatment. We're going to try and make it arty. Tom's going to try and make it arty. But yeah, I've had the experience now. Yeah. But can you explain, let's just start by explaining the connection between gut health and overall well-being. I know it's quite broad. Yeah. But can you explain that?
Definitely. So it's sort of a new buzzword, really. You know, in the last few years, especially, gut health has been a topic, hasn't it? You know, we were very much led to believe that the brain was sort of functioning in the body before now. So now that we know that the gut is actually responsible for 80% of the body's overall functioning, and that includes your serotonin production, which is your happy hormone. So 90% of that comes from the gut. Your, you know, sort of all your hormonal balances stem from your gut health. So now that we know that, keeping that gut functioning well is really important, right? So the digestive system starts from the mouth, finishes at the anus, and that process is, you know, quite a lengthy process, but even things like salivating whilst prepping a meal and thinking about sort of the food that we're about to enjoy plays a vital part on our digestive system and how we break down the food further down the line. In today's world, a lot of people eat for convenience. We've got delivery companies like that can drop off your meal to you in half an hour. You've not had to think about. There's probably not very much nutritional benefit. So the gut not only is not getting excited anymore about the food that it's about to receive, we're not salivating, we haven't got these digestive enzymes and juices doing their job in the stomach to help break down the food. We're now putting in meals that are very, very basic in nutritional gain, and the gut isn't working. You know, it's really struggling to function. We're seeing depression on the rise. I believe it's very much linked to poor gut health, the sort of ultra processed foods that people are eating far more regularly than they used to. Very little good food is getting into the gut. So gut health for me defined is sort of the process of digestion, the absorptions of vitamins, and sort of the decretion of waste, getting rid of the waste products as well. So, you know, which a lot of people aren't either. They're holding on to, hence the colonics.
So go on then, from the process of actually doing a colonic, what's the benefit of having a colonic?
So the benefit of having a colonic is to remove the build-up of waste in the large intestine. So like I mentioned, we absorb our nutrients, our vitamins, our trace elements through the gut lining. And when the gut is sort of impacted with old fecal matter, that is what's leaking into our bloodstream. And a lot of the time clients come in, they've got leaky gut, you know, these toxins are running through their body and functioning their body in a negative way. We need to keep our digestive system moving, and especially the large intestine, so the colon, the waste moving through. It's over 6 foot long. And so you can imagine how much waste can actually get stuck in the large intestine. Like I mentioned in your colonic, the average Westerner is walking around with up to 8 kilos of fecal matter in their gut.
I can't hear it without it turning my stomach.
It's
and
a
also when you said fecal matter going into your bloodstream.
Yeah, is that all the toxin?
What an image.
It can come up. It's even worse because all the skinny jabs and things like that now, they're having a real chronic constipation is a real side effect from them. Like it's bad. And I'm seeing clients walking in, they are bringing up their fecal matter. They are so impacted in their colon.
Wow.
The whole system is chocker and they are literally, it's coming up.
I'm trying to make my face passive and I can't. I just can feel myself frowning at hearing that.
Try doing what I do when they come in.
Yeah, that is rough. So up to 8 kilos of matter that you're walking around in.
Absolutely, possibly more in some cases.
Wow.
And
so
what you're
doing is I mean, straight away, what's the benefit? I'm walking around with stuff that I don't know, junk, rubbish that I don't need in my system that could come out, and you can straight away
your energy is
depleted.
Exactly. Okay. So so your energy is going to increase. Your sleep's going to increase. Our melatonin production, you know, very much our gut needs to be healthy to pass those signals to the brain for our melatonin function. You know, so we're going to have more energy for training, but equally just being, you know, cognitive function, being able to do your sort of job that you're designed to do. Benefits, constipation, diarrhea, people that have IBS and sort of lived a life thinking that those umbrella terms of IBS, those symptoms are normal. They're not normal.
Yeah.
You know, just because somebody's given you a diagnosis or a name, you can, in most cases, reverse those symptoms. I've seen it so many times.
It's a really good point. I think so many people get used to feeling or living in a certain way that they think, well, this is just standard. This is my baseline. And I, through some of the work that I've done, have realised that it doesn't have to be like that. You just need to put the work in and work with someone that knows what they're doing. It's very, nowadays with the information out there, there's so much to go on, and you will find an argument and then a counter argument and a rabbit hole that you can go down and find out all these contrarian opinions.
Absolutely.
But you do need to work with someone that can support you through that, because otherwise you're rudderless, aren't you, basically?
Definitely. And like, you know, first and foremost, I must say, I like most nutritionists believe all of this needs to be sort of, the baseline needs to be nutrition. It needs to be food. Again, with vitamins, minerals, we really shouldn't be supplementing very much because in hindsight, we should get it all from our meals. But, you know, vitamin D, for example, is something that we don't get because we live in quite a
Case in point,
sunny climate. So yeah, that is something that we need to, but everything else we really should get from our nutrition, which we're not seeing. We're, you know, like I mentioned, processed food is on the rise. That convenience living is a real issue.
Yeah.
So because of that, I come in and we remove the bad and then we repopulate. And, you know, I work with a fantastic nutritionist, Fiona. She's really, so we kind of help people together. We get rid of the waste and then we make sure we're putting back in all the good. Everything that's depleted needs topping up. And a lot of people need educating on what they should be eating. Like you mentioned, you can Google, and I have people that come to me and say, I don't go to the toilet for 3 weeks. I'm having so much fibre. I'm like, at that point, fibre's no good.
Yeah.
You've got this gut that is like a compost heap. It's bubbling over, it's festering, there's gas, there's heat, there's all this inflammation. And then they followed NHS guidelines that said that they need X amount of fibre. It's too late at this point. All of these guidelines are designed at a well-functioning person. Fantastic. Everything's good. Follow these guidelines. You'll stay on track. If something's gone wrong, if you have IBS, fibre can be a terrible thing.
Yeah.
You know, it's knowing what's right for you, and it's so individual with so many of these sort of complaints that are coming to my clinic. And if they go to a medical professional, they have, you know, sort of a one size fits all.
Yeah, very much.
And
so.
it isn't the case. And, you know, I believe that with a gut dysbiosis, which is, you know, just an imbalance of good bacteria, you can get your bacteria back up thriving, eliminate the bad bacteria, and probably undo at least 80% of your symptoms with diet and lifestyle alone.
Yeah, amazing.
You know?
So, I mean, really, people can come to see you regularly, and people do come to see you regularly. I guess what you're doing is stripping back. You are getting rid of the waste.
Yes.
The goal for everyone is to live in a world where to live and eat optimally allows that microbiome to be created in a way that it's self-sustaining and self-regulating, and you've got healthy bowel movements and all these things. I'm not a specialist.
You do sound like you are.
Know what, though? Isn't it a topic that is still a taboo?
Yeah, yeah.
It's literally one of these things that minute you start talking about poo, which obviously you can't talk about colonics without talking about poo. Like people start going, "What don't you?"
They
it just makes me squirm.
But you know what? Like, everyone comes in apprehensive. I said to you on the day, there's no one that skips into the clinic.
I don't know. I had a
you
little
did quite well, yeah. But they all leave saying, why is this not discussed? Why? We all go out and have dinners. We're all our friends. We all sit there and we eat in. Well, it's got to come out, okay? Why is that such an issue?
I bet you're a joy at dinner.
No, I'm really, honestly, I am so, everyone that knows me, I'm all about balance.
Yeah,
and I am definitely not, what are you doing? What are you eating? I'm not that person. The mums at the school look at me and they're like, oh God, look at the snacks we brought up. It's
judging.
I'm not judging you. Trust me. My kids are still kids.
Yeah. They
enjoy what they enjoy, and I don't want to deprive them because I think that's even worse. But it's balance, you know? It's making sure they have a healthy meal and then, have something bad. Like, come on, like,
we've still
got to live.
Exactly it. You mentioned your kids there, and I do want to talk about balance because you've got 2 kids. You're running a business. You're an elite athlete. So how do you get the balance right?
I don't. Well, obviously a great partner.
Yeah.
I said this to you last time, didn't I? I'm so lucky. We are a partnership through and through as parents. Ben is incredible. I'm lucky. My dad, don't get me wrong, he's wonderful, but I was like sort of brought up in a day where your dad was at work before you got up in the morning. He was in at 6 o'clock for dinner. We'd go to bed. We'd rarely see him on a Saturday. He'd play golf. On a Sunday, he'd play football. My mum was, without a doubt, 99% our parent. Ben is 50% with me. Probably sometimes more, sometimes less, but give or take, we do it, sort of jointly together. And that is how it works. Like I wouldn't be able to do it otherwise.
That partnership is so
and
important,
my 87-year-old nan, of course, who is just incredible.
Who stepped in to look after your kids last time we recorded and didn't record. Yeah. But I think what you describe as your dad's generation of dads.
Yeah.
Was kind of normative behaviour or just socially acceptable.
Our mums were at home, weren't they?
Our generation of dads, I think there was a lot more pressure to, provide. Well, you want it to be an equal partnership.
Yeah.
There are elements of being a mum and a dad that are very different, and we have different functions, but I do think it should be an equal partnership. So it's great to hear that you've got that in your world and you're able to do that.
Yeah. I mean, he's also a therapist.
Yeah.
So I think I said this before. So he's an OT. He works at Little Havens, which is our local children's hospice.
Yeah.
So I'm really lucky because he sees awful situations every day, and then he'll come home and remind me of, let's put life in perspective.
Ground you a little bit.
100%. If I think, oh my God, the kids are driving me mad, he'll be like, Laura, there's parents that would love to have their children at home driving them mad. And I'm like, okay, breathe.
Yeah.
They're not that bad.
Yeah. But I don't know Ben particularly well, but you have to be an incredibly compassionate person to go and do the job in that environment. And then to almost be boundaried enough to come home and not let the weight of that sometimes. I can just imagine what he's seeing and the relationships he's experiencing, and then to come home and see your kids and be like, oh, wow.
Yeah,
it must keep you very grounded and humble.
Most of the time.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is tough. And I think that probably helps him even more so to be such a hands-on dad, because he's appreciating every when you've got evidence of that all the time. How do you stay motivated? Because we're talking how you train a lot. You work a lot. 5 o'clock, wake up.
I know it's a good balance between you and Ben, but school drop-off, school pick-up, school clubs, whatever they're doing at the weekend. How do you stay motivated?
5 a.m. alarm clock.
5 a.m. alarm clock, right, okay.
I have to.
But you need to get up. I can set a 5 a.m. alarm clock, but I'm not getting up.
To be fair, I'm usually awake before it goes off.
Okay.
Laying there thinking, what is the time it's going to go off? And then, 5 o'clock, wake up. Same routine every day, hot water and lemon, some electrolytes, lovely, off out the door. I'm usually at the 5:45 class, or I'll be out for a run at that point. Get it done. I am so much better in myself. I am a human being when I return from that exercise.
Right.
Before I am probably a hormonal mess.
Right, okay, yeah.
And Ben's like, oh, I'm so glad you went and did that this morning. You really needed that, didn't you? I'm like, yeah. I did.
So is that an everyday thing? It's getting
4 or
up
5
and
times a
exercising.
week.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, and then even on the weekends, so Saturdays it's the same, and then it's the children straight to swimming, Ezzy to piano. We're regimented, and then it's usually kids' parties or.
So when's the downtime?
That's the thing that I'm working on. My family, you need to stop. You're going to burn out, but. Oh, I'm not sure.
Yeah, 3 years in. I mean, since I've known you, you've always been so incredibly busy, and you've always got a smile on your face. You radiate positivity.
Oh, thanks.
From what I see.
Yeah, no,
you might go like, Ben, what's going on? This shit podcast today. But no, you just seem to exude this very kind of positive aura, which is lovely. But yeah, I wonder, how do you keep that motivation and positivity up all the time?
I'm definitely not all the time at home. Ben definitely gets the other side of that.
That's where you recharge. That's the battery has to go.
And he just goes, oh, I understand. You're really good. You don't stop. Let it out. And I'm like, stop.
Is imposter syndrome still present for you?
Yes and no, but this year very much less. Okay. I've done things this year that are massively out of my comfort zone. I went and gave a talk about gut health and colonics at a health spa to a bunch of a whole room full of people that I've never met before, which was really big for me.
Amazing.
And that I felt fantastic after. So that is definitely disappearing. It's fading. It's there. I think it always will be because I care so much. And like you said, there's so many skeptics about colonics still. You still feel like you're at times defending something to be beneficial.
Yeah.
Of course, it's not for everyone. And there's people that safely couldn't have it anyway. It wouldn't be right. But most people would benefit from it. And I'm like, I still want to convince the world just try it. Just try it.
Well, part of the reason, if we break it down into two parts, part of the reason I came to do the colonic was one, to say sorry, but I also wanted to break down some of the stigma of guys going to get colonics, because again, if we talk about poo being a taboo subject, having something stuck up your bum is also potentially a taboo subject. So to have got that done and gone
That's
through.
That's not what you said on the day.
Yeah, no. But to go through that experience and just know, okay, well, it's all part of it, but the benefits far outweigh that little moment of discomfort.
Yeah.
To go and do it, I think is really important. And from I can only talk from a man's perspective.
Yeah.
But men having discomfort about going to have awkward appointments at a doctor's, let's say, or whatever, and not being willing to show body parts is why I think so many people can get ill and things aren't picked up.
Oh, without
on another
doubt.
note. So it's part of that. I just wanted to go, look, if I can go and do it, and the experience, look, I don't think anyone goes in skipping, as you say, but it felt like a change. It felt like a resetting of sorts, which I think is so important for people to know.
Amazing.
Don't let the discomfort put you off.
Yeah. When I started, and obviously I mean once I kind of committed to doing this, so I had my own client base, I would see a male client probably once every 6 weeks. It's very much 50-50 now.
Yeah.
And I think it's incredible. One, because Ben tells everybody, go and see Laura. All of his friends have been now, sorry to say, most of his friends, in case
I know a lot of people in Leigh that have been on your couch.
Yeah. and like, it's incredible. Men actually go away and talk about their experiences. Women don't. Men don't mind being down the pub talking about it. It's funny. And like all the guys that come in will go, oh, I've got all the lads at the yard. They all want to know what it's like. They're all coming in and they all come in.
Yeah.
Whereas women are like, okay, thank you, bye. And then most of them won't go and talk about their experience. Men will.
Yeah.
And it's amazing.
And I think women, as a generalisation, women are going through so much more than men, and maybe that I don't know, maybe that lived experience is that they're not willing to share because they have to go and do so much over the course of their lives to go and do these things. Yeah,
it's true.
Well, yeah, I know from my experience, the whole experience of coming to the clinic and going into the room, the way you explain the procedure, and it isn't an uncomfortable feeling. It feels like something's happening.
It feels like you're going to have an urgent bowel movement, right?
Yeah.
Like you're going to need to...
We've all been there.
Yeah, and that's it. And that's the feeling comfortable with that feeling whilst you're laying down is the weirdest part. I think from like coming to terms with the fact that you're not on a toilet, there's a stranger in the room, relax.
And Tom.
And a cameraman.
And all the lights on when we were recording as well.
I hate the lights. And it was like being in a dentist chair.
Maybe when you watch part of this clip back, it's not like how it would be completely. I mean, the lights are on. Yeah, there's a bit more ambience rather than the lights on and Tom stood in the corner. But no, it was. I'm glad we did it. I'm glad I got to experience the benefits of it as well. Yeah. And I think it's just, if I can, I don't want to be the poster boy for colonics, but if I can say, get over that discomfort, go and have the conversation with you, and I think it's really, really good.
Lovely. Well, you're lovely and healthy, so you haven't got to come back too often. That
was nice to know. That was the overriding message I took from it. What's next for the clinic? What goals have you got? I mean, you've said personally you're going and doing events now. I know podcasts and interviews are not,
I'm so
many people are uncomfortable about this, but what's next for the clinic?
I still really want to expand the clinic. There's a lovely lady next door to me who has this wonderful antique shop. She actually had both the shops. My clinic was also her antique shop, and she's winding down, but possibly could be there forever. I'm not sure, but I'd love to expand the clinic, have the shop next door as well, and a whole longevity clinic would be where I would love to sort of see myself.
Because there's more treatments in Highcliffe than just the colonics, right? Okay,
absolutely. And, if I could have sort of an oxygen chamber, all these sort of elements that maximise benefits of the colonic, but equally just the same sort of message, longevity. living well, feeling
living
good.
an optimal life where you
optimal
can
health
feel as
clinic
good as you
would
want.
be what I would love.
Have you ever thought about sharing the antique space? I think you could have like a concession stand. There could just be some like a bit of an objet d'art going on while people are if we're thinking about an environment, wouldn't work, would it?
No, I don't know. No, not for me.
You need a bit more privacy.
I think
a bit more privacy than people opening the door looking for a lamp.
But actually, I also, someone who's really close to me, her name's Lorraine. She worked for me for a little while. She's like a mother in this area because my mum's not local.
Right.
She's a clairvoyant. She's always told me that I will teach. So she's adamant that I will teach colonics at some point. And I can see that. I had a lady that asked to come and work with me last year, and I wanted to teach her, but I needed to have been a part of an association for another year, so I wasn't able to, which I now am able to.
Well, there you go.
So possibly teaching.
That could be the
colonics.
next chapter. Well, you get to a point where you kind of, and you'll be uncomfortable with this, but like you master the art of doing it. And then, if it's a movement that you want to be part of and kind of head that up, then why not go down that route? That'd be a really lovely thing to do. I can see you doing that.
Well, then there's why, it sort of brings into the teaching.
Yeah, exactly. Go full circle again, don't we? Yeah. Okay, I'm going to ask you for some advice, and this is quite a broad question, but what's one piece of advice you'd give to someone that needs to change their relationship with work? Because your story is a little different. You've come to this conclusion that work from a moment, whereas some people go through a journey with it. It did feel like for you, all of your imposter syndrome was stripped away when that woman said, I'm going to pay you minimum wage.
Yeah.
And I'm going to take this big margin. And you've got the knowledge, you've got the experience. All of a sudden that confidence has to kick in because you're like, I'm not going to get disrespected
what did I do this
like
for?
this. Exactly. What's the point?
Yeah.
So have you got any advice for anyone that's sat there thinking they could have been in the same position as you? They could want to start a side hustle.
You've just got to back yourself. Like I have this real issue with believing what people tell me about myself. I've just been told so many times, positive confirmation of, that I'm doing the right thing. I'm sort of meant to be on the path that I'm on. And at the time you don't believe it. You think, that possibly could there be a better option? Is there more security in going back to being employed? The bills will always be paid. You haven't got to think about who's coming through the door that month. But, listen to the advice people give you and be confident because, I don't know, it's really difficult.
But again, advocating for yourself, backing yourself, you do our self-speak, our inner narrative, it's so easy to be self-deprecating when someone gives you a compliment and be like, oh no, don't.
I'm the worst at taking a compliment.
Yeah, bat it away, reflect it. Sometimes people say things positive to you so much that it seeps in at some point, so you've got to keep doing it. But I do think people are saying it. Yes, they might love you. Yes, they're friends, but they're saying it for a reason. They're supporting you for a reason. So you have to let that permeate in and digest it, and you will start to believe it too.
And what's the worst that's going to happen? Life's so short. I've always lived by the fact that life's so short.
Yeah,
you just have to take a leap of faith sometimes, and worst case, you can find something
fail and then you do it again.
Exactly, 100%. You learn. You always learn, don't you? There's something to be said for learning and coming back stronger.
There's a clip that's doing the rounds at the moment of George Clooney getting interviewed on Radio 2, and he says to Dermot O'Leary, you can live with failure, you can't live with regret.
That's I agree.
Just like it lands so well.
It does.
And yes, it's George Clooney saying it, so you're like, but the guy
easy for you
knows.
to
Yeah,
say.
Bloody hell, George. But I'm a complete believer in that.
Me too,
I think
definitely.
you are better to have tried something and failed than not to have tried something at all.
Yeah, listen to the positive voices, not the negative ones. I mean, there's very few negative ones. I think most of the time we think in our head, people are thinking things that they totally are not.
It's the inner voice that's the most negative.
100%.
That
no one's rating for you to fall at all.
Yeah, that's a really good point. And especially round here.
Yeah, we all want to see everybody thrive, and that's the truth. I love this community for that reason.
Yeah. No, that's brilliant. Okay, I think that's really lovely advice. Do you want to play a game?
I'm not sure.
Okay, the game we're going to play to finish off is called Flush or Fact.
fact. Oh, I like it.
So I'm going to read a statement and you're going to tell me if it's a myth, so we flush it, or if it's fact, it's true and we keep it. It's not a Room 101 situation, but I guess we could call it that. There's a copyright for that. Right, okay, so colon Put my teeth back. Colon hydrotherapy is painful. It's okay, flush or fact?
Oh, I couldn't remember what we're saying. We're flushing that.
We're flushing that.
Pain? Absolutely not. I hate that word when people say, is it painful? It can be uncomfortable for some people. It's not painful.
My experience was not, there was no pain involved in that at all. So I think that's fair. It's only for people who are constipated.
Flush? You know, people that come through the door with diarrhea say, I don't actually think that there's anything in me. I eat and it goes straight through me. No, more often than not, you're overflowing.
Yeah.
You know, so no, flush.
Yeah, okay. You lose your good gut bacteria.
Flush.
Okay.
You are not going to deplete your good bacteria. Your good bacteria, we want to be on the intestinal tract, like I've mentioned earlier, so that we can absorb into the bloodstream, like I mentioned earlier. If it's on the fecal matter, it's not where it's designed to be, so it's not helping you anyway. So we're flushing that away. We are.
Cool.
But where we want the good bacteria to be is on the intestinal tract. So no, we're not flushing that away.
Okay. But we are flushing the statement away.
We're flushing that statement away.
Flushing the statement away. But we're not flushing a good bacteria.
That actually we can add good bacteria. So if somebody has to have, a few treatments because they're chronically constipated, we will implant good bacteria to make sure that we're actually replenishing any bacteria levels that have dropped.
Got you. You need to do it regularly.
Flush.
Okay.
Once a year in some cases, fantastic. Once every few years. For some people who eat really well, their diet lifestyle's fantastic, but they've just maybe got some stress in their life or external factors like sleep deprivation, for young parents, or work stress. Once in a blue moon, just to get rid of any toxins that have built up. Yeah, okay. No. Flush.
It's an extreme enema.
Flush.
Are there similarities?
Fact. Similarities. An enema is quite often performed in a hospital or care homes for vulnerable, elderly. Enemas are fantastic, and I tell clients to do them at home if they're brave enough. You can add coffee, you can add herbs, sort of anything you want to them. They're wonderful, but they'll only get so far. So yes, in a way, that's probably the most factual one so far. But you'll only clear the sigmoid colon, the rectum, any build up in the lower part of the bowel. Yeah. Whereas a colonic can get a lot higher. Understood. Okay. Only with people. I don't know why I'm struggling with this today. Hey, people. Only people with poor diets benefit. No, flush. Okay. We're flushing a lot of these. Yeah, we are flushing a lot of them. I see a lot of clients who are vegan and actually healthy vegans as well, because you don't necessarily need to be healthy to be a vegan, but healthy vegans who do just try to eat sort of fruit, veg, plants as they come out of the ground. And like I mentioned, you know what happens in your compost bin is the same that happens in the gut. We get this festering sort of waste that's fermented in the gut that is producing lots of gas and bloating and causes discomfort. So actually some of my healthiest clients need to have colonics. Okay. You'll be stuck on the toilet for days. Absolutely not. Flush, were you? No, there was a point where I was sat there thinking, nothing's happening. Why have I not gone to the toilet? But yeah, you very quickly put me at ease and said that was an okay thing to have happened. So that's definitely fine. Yeah. So I went for a run that day. You did. So, most of my clients feel energized and go straight out for exercise. Yeah, people come in their lunch break. So no, you don't have to be. That can flush. Okay, last one. People who come for colonics are embarrassed or ashamed. Yeah, a lot of the time that's fact. I think most people come in feeling embarrassed, actually. Not a lot of people want to talk about their bowel movements. Not a lot of people want to show their bottoms to somebody. And, they know that they've got to sort of be vulnerable to allow themselves to get the benefits out of the treatment. So that one's fact, But I would say 99% of people leave and say, I wish I'd done that sooner. I wish I wasn't embarrassed, because it's held me back from doing that for a long time.
Isn't that the same with most things that we are embarrassed about doing, though? There's a degree of liberation that happens when we just, for want of a better expression, open yourself up to it. You've just got to do these things.
You just got to take a leap of faith.
You've got to take a leap of faith. Just in the spirit of transparency, and I feel like we're beating taboos around this topic. Mike, when was the last time you went for a poo? This morning. Tom? 2 days ago.
Sorry, what?
Get yourself in the
Tom?
clinic. Exactly.
No, Tom.
Laura, I feel like we're just going to ask you.
My last poo?
Yeah.
This morning?
Yeah.
I am so regular.
Regular as clockwork.
I want to tell everybody, and it's true, you as an adult can potty train. And that is the best free advice that I tell people. It doesn't cost fortunes to get your bowels moving.
Yeah.
It takes time, being able to relax, consistency. Feet up on a set of steps. You can use your children's. Relaxing in the toilet and just shutting the door, because obviously when you've got young children, it's not very easy to do that.
There's no relaxing on a toilet.
But that's why my alarm goes off that early. I missed that out when I said hot water and lemon. The first thing I do once that kettle is down is go and sit on the toilet. And every day I think, I don't think I need to go today. But I do not get off that toilet till I've been. And you will go to the toilet.
I am trying to keep a serious face, but it's just a funny topic of conversation, isn't it? But I think it's great. Like,
Load of
well
old
done.
shit.
Yeah, there you go. We need to talk more about shit. Okay, we're going to do the closing question on the podcast. This is the tradition from my mum. It was very close last night. Finley, my son, who is adamant he wants to start a podcast, rocked up and said, if Nana doesn't want to do it, I'll do it.
Oh, wow.
So we sat there and I was seriously considering it, but I say unfortunately.
Have we got his question too?
No, I didn't really know what he would ask about this. We didn't go into it, but anyway, Mum would be distraught as well if she didn't get a chance to ask the question. It's close though, because she is struggling a little bit to come up with these. This was a good one. Okay.
Hi Laura, what's the most interesting thing that you've ever found out about somebody from their poo? And also, could you tell me, have you ever had a hose mishap? Thanks.
It's a real question, that one.
Yeah.
I think the second one is the one I'm more interested in.
Okay.
But yeah, what's the most interesting thing you can tell from someone's poo?
I remember this question. I remember her asking it before. The interesting thing is probably parasites.
There was a moment. There was a moment, wasn't there?
There was
when we were doing mine, where you thought there might be.
There might have been a little friend in there.
Yeah.
I see them a lot, and especially people that come back from sort of travelling. Indonesia, Bali, belly is huge, and it's bad, and one flush isn't going to sort of eliminate parasites, and we need to do quite a few, and they tend to hide quite high up in the colon.
And you said something about like the cycle of the moon can say whether a parasite is more active or if they're
when they
hatching,
want to come away. Absolutely, yeah. Full moon's a great time to do a parasite.
I'm just looking at Mike's face. He's like, no.
It's so important to follow the cycle. Absolutely, like we said about sowing seeds and sort of gardening. It's the same with your the seeds and the bugs in your belly.
That's crazy.
But also, I've seen some Lego pen lids. People have swallowed over time, and we found some treasure.
It's definitely been swallowed.
It's been swallowed. Yeah. Oh, that's no. Possibly.
Yeah.
I've never thought
now
about
he's
that.
taking
My
a turn.
innocent mind.
We know we're near at the end of the podcast now.
Yeah. And mishaps.
Hose mishaps.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I have had people that unfortunately are so impacted that we can't physically fit the speculum in.
Right.
So I mean, once we do get it in, you can imagine the size of the waste matter. So of course.
But again, that's one of those things, isn't it? Where that's a real sign that treatment needs. Because if you just let that impaction keep building, then you are really going to be.
It's so detrimental to people's health. I don't think people realise how negative like a fecal impaction can sort of be on their whole well-being.
Well, do you know what? Like I don't suffer from constipation.
You don't?
Here's an overshare. I don't suffer from constipation. But I know if I need a poo and I'm not having that poo, I get in a really bad mood.
Yeah,
I was going to say shit mood.
Yeah, it's
but
dark
like, so if
energy.
you're holding on to that, do you not find that if you need a poo, you're out and you just feel like, I know I need to do. My body needs to do this.
Absolutely. It's the same with sort of like, nervous tummy, gut feeling. When people are feeling anxious, they will probably have a nervous poo.
It's your body
It's
telling
just
you that
serotonin
you need to do
production.
something.
It's that happy hormone. So when we release and when our bowels are empty, we are happier.
Yeah.
We do feel lighter mentally, physically, but that is fact. That isn't just a myth. That's because as your gut is emptying and expelling that waste, you feel lighter for it.
As I said that out loud, I just saw loads of our followers disappear, but I think it's important to say, Laura, you've been an absolute pleasure. Have we got a podcast?
Oh,
yes,
thank the
come on.
Lord.
But it's been an honour. Thank you for the patience.
you.
Thank you for coming in and being so gracious with your time and for allowing us into the clinic to film.
Thank you for coming in.
It has just been so lovely getting to know you that little bit better. And finally, we've got a podcast.
We have a podcast.
So well done.
You.
You smashed it.
I'm